Hello, all you early birds, to our fundraiser. It's about 6:42, so we're about 15-20 minutes from getting started. My name is Rick Meyering. I'm the Director of Operations for Camp Blodgett. So we're just kind of coming on to give you the assurance that you're in the right place. And I've got a little list of all of you who are starting to check in. I've got Andrea Robinson. She's here running some things behind the scenes. But Ethan Fillmore, Sarah's husband, good to have you out. Amy Paul, Andrew DeWard, Dontario Hodges, Jazz McKinney, good to have you out. Jan Heerspink, and I also saw it in the chat here, Rose Bauman. She's got her beer open already. We appreciate you celebrating with us, Rose. So good to have you out. Thanks for joining us. Before we get started, we just want to make sure you're in the right place. Give a shout out to those who are checking in early. Know that we're going to get started promptly at 7 o'clock. But while we wait for the event to begin, check out this collection of pictures from our 2020 program season, dating all the way back to last winter, actually, because we do year-round programming. It wasn't easy to adapt our programming to what 2020 gave us, but I'm so proud of our team for what they accomplished. Take a look here, and we'll be back with you very shortly. Thank you so much.
Hello, friends. Hi there, early birds. I am Lucy Dyer-Joswick. I have the pleasure of being the executive director here at Camp Blodgett. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I heard some of my friends' names. I heard Rosa's here. Saw that you already cracked the beer. Thank you. So I'm excited that those of you are settling in and making yourselves at home. While you are settling in, I am just going to update you real quick, since you're the early birds, on what we did to make it work this summer. So as you might imagine, 2020 has not been our normal year here at Camp Blodgett, but there's one thing that we will always do. Try and try and try and try again. And so this summer, despite the impossible, we were still able to deliver some programming. Our STEM kids for their 4-week summer academy were here. We weren't able to do a residential program, but we still were able to do a day camp, which is so important because, to remind you, those kids are already behind in science and math. When you've been out of school and you're already behind, and then you might have this opportunity to miss the summer program, things aren't very, very okay for you. So we were able to make that possible. And in addition to having our summer STEM Academy, we did have the opportunity to safely bring some kids out here for day camps. In addition to that, our program team got really creative. We have milk cartons here that get delivered a lot. We crammed camp into those milk cartons, and we did a summer camp from home program so that kids could pick up supplies filled with all sorts of activities that they could do at home, give their parents a break from entertaining them, or and also had some snacks in there. You know, kids are always hungry, and they were able to return that milk crate for us, get another one, and continue that throughout the summer. So we're so grateful that we were able to at least provide something. And of course, like you, we're not sure what's going to happen next. So we are just hanging on and trying to wait to see. But one thing that I can tell you is that we're going to have fun, regardless of what it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break here for you early birds and let you watch a video showing some more of our summer fun. It will be our 100th summer, so oh, come on, we got to make this possible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, some of you that are still here early. We're about to get started, but I noticed that we have this fancy little thing that's showing us who is here. So I'm going to take a glance. I see that Quincy from our board chair, Quincy Williams, is here. Hey, Quincy. I see that Tanya Bermejo, who is our member at large. She logged in very early. Thank you, Tanya. I think I see Neil Jansen is here as well. Neil has been on the board with us for a very long time. And I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that is. Erica. Erica, our former executive director, is here. Woo. Hey, Erica, we miss you. You're probably watching it like right from over there. So hello. I'm so excited that some of you are coming to join us.
Yeah. Thank you, board members, staff members, and a lot of our friends and family for already joining us. We're looking forward to get started full time at 7 o'clock. In the meantime, we have a few ways you can connect with us online, mainly in that chat area, just kind of talking and introducing ourselves. But there's also a poll. We're going to take 2 polls tonight. We have an early one while we're waiting to get started, and we'd love to know how you first got involved with Camp Blodgett. You may have only known us for 6 months, 6 years, maybe 60 years. But tell us how you know about Camp Blodgett, how you first got involved. There's a little poll section. I think there's a couple different ways you can connect there. Take a look at that, and actually Lucy and I are going to start. So Lucy, how did you first get involved with Camp Blodgett?
Well, I must say how I first got involved in terms of finding Camp Blodgett was on a spy operation. So I worked
Binoculars.
Yes. Well, they let me in, so it wasn't fully spying. But I worked for Girl Scouts right in my early career. Hey, Girl Scouts, I know a couple of you are out there tonight. And what we would do to try and learn from others is invite ourselves to go and visit. And who doesn't want to go from Greenville to Grand Haven? Right. And so it was a hard thing for us to do. But honestly, I could see the magic and the connections between your counselors and staff was really something that hung on and made me want to recreate it.
And about what year was that?
I would say 2002, 2003. So, and that's, I hear when your story started.
It turns out, yeah, and it's just a mere 18 years ago. So we got to embrace that. You're
so young.
Both of us have kind of gone away and done other things in between all of that. But in 2002, I was hired as a counselor here, and it really changed the trajectory of my own life. And I came back as a camp director in 2009 and just haven't left since. So
we're glad for that.
Go ahead and take a look at that poll. We're going to be back with you in just a few short minutes, but take a look at that poll and tell us how you've been involved with Camp Blodgett. Be with you shortly. Thank you so much.
Hello, hello. Good evening and welcome to our first ever virtual, but second ever for the Kids Fundraising event. I am Lucy Dyer-Joswick. I have the joy of being the executive director, and my co-host for tonight,
Rick Meyering, Director of Operations for Camp Blodgett.
So thank you so much for being here. We know some folks are still trickling in, but I think that we have oh my gosh, there's like 68 of you or something that have 68 households that have already come in. So thank you. We know that we have close to 150 people that are coming out, being here, whatever you want to call it for these virtual events. So thank you so much. Well, I want to introduce you to those of you that just hopped in to our chat feature. You're probably seeing a lot of things to the right. Go ahead and catch up, say hi, say whatever you need to say to us. We are following that and watching it throughout the night. And now, if you haven't yet, break open your swag bag. If you've really been waiting, then bless you. You have more patience than most of us. You're probably opening that. You are seeing the wonderful things that were donated thanks to Art of the Table, Brewery Vivant, and Blueberry Haven. One thing that you're also going to find in there is a little piece of Camp Blodgett. So Rick and I know that we have a big privilege here, being able to work and play out in the sunshine at camp, and we wanted to give you a little piece of that. So you actually have Camp Blodgett beach sand. So I say, we have a lot of hard times of finding joy right now, so hopefully this can be a little liquid joy.
Yeah, we actually got little mini shovels, like Lego size, and just kind of spoon those in there. So
real.
That's how
much we love you. Yeah. It's true. Right. So we are going ahead with the real show.
Yeah.
So tonight we have 3 conversations that we're going to be bringing you. And here at camp, we have the opportunity to have lots of conversations. And we notice that through conversation, through talking with one another, we build connections, we can break down barriers, and we really can transform one another's lives. So we're going to introduce you to 3 stories, 3 conversations about how Camp Blodgett has transformed individuals or families' lives. What I like to consider this, and what I promised a lot of you, is our dose of joy. We have had a really hard year, so stick with us for an hour tonight, and I promise you'll feel a lot happier at the end. I think I'm going to turn here to Rick, and we're going to teach them a little bit more about our polls.
Yeah, so before we get started in those 3 conversations, we definitely want to direct you to that chat box. Brian and Val from our team are keeping that conversation going. A bunch of our board members have already mentioned. But we want to give a shout out to everybody that's joined us. I think we're going to want to mention from far, far away, our old camp director, Charlie Breen, is on live from Texas. Good to have you out, Charlie. Thanks for joining us. A friend of Camp Blodgett and a sister of one of our staff members, Pam DeYoung, coming in all the way from San Diego. Good to have you as well. Chelsea Davis from way down in Orlando, Florida. Great to have you all out as well. Tons of family members. My sister-in-law Kaylee's out there. My wife's out there, Sherry. A lot of friends and family. We're thankful for you all. Thanks to having Jazz out here. I could name all the names, but then we just sit here with a whole list of names. So we did take a brief poll earlier before we got started at 7 p.m. and we talked about how people first got involved with Camp Blodgett. So now we want to go a little bit broader. We have a poll here on the right side. Some people have already started it out. We took that brief poll earlier, and now we want to talk about who here has attended a summer camp before. We just want to take that all in. Who was affected by summer camp in several different ways. Hit up that poll, take a good look at that, and then Camp Blodgett specific people, get into that chat area. Tell us and leave us a message in the chat area telling us, were you a staff member, were you a camper, maybe the years you were here. Try to think of a theme that you remember from that year. Also think of maybe a popular song from back in the day. I know I'm going to have Norman on here later, and I remember there was one year with that song, Umbrella. Under my umbrella. We sang it like 7 times per musicale, and it got a little old by the end of the year. But those are fun memories. Hit us up in that poll and hit us up in that chat area. And thanks for joining us tonight.
All right. Well, I think one of the first questions that we asked them was a little bit about how people had first gotten involved in Camp Blodgett. So I can tell my story, and then if you want to share yours before we really get started. So my first experience out here was as a spy operation. So I wanted to come out to this camp. I told some of you that before we got started. And Rick has really been with us since what?
2002, then 2007, and came back as camp director in 2009. And then they didn't let me leave after that.
So you'll see that as a trend throughout this show, is that people come and they never go away. And we're actually very happy about that. So something that has never gone away, speaking of that, is this coronavirus that has really taken over our 2020 and really made a lot of our lives very uncertain. So we know that a lot of you are going through a lot of uncertainty and that the future has a lot of uncertainty. But 2 things, unfortunately, that I do know for sure is that poverty is increasing and that access to education is decreasing. And what that means is that our mission is more needed than it ever has been before. So we surveyed our parents this fall, and we learned that 60% of them have lost their jobs or lost income due to the coronavirus and all that this has caused. So we know that camp is something that they need more than they ever have before. And with kids being out of school this summer, we wanted, and this fall, we wanted to make sure that we did something creative. So we partnered with Blanford Nature Center. We created an outdoor school. And we can continue to do these kinds of innovative programs to meet the needs of our kids wherever it means they end up. And we can only do that because of you, because of folks that show up tonight, because of folks that show up and support us all the time. So thank you so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and re-highlight our sponsors who made this night possible. Without these folks, your donations would go to event expenses. And with their support, we make sure that all of your donations are going right into our program. So I want to thank Deloitte for being our Trailblazer sponsor, a 2nd year in a row. And I also want to thank our camp champs, Molina Healthcare and Wolverine Building Group. Thank you so much for being super involved in our community and with us. And then also our happy campers, we have Rhodes McKee, Varnum Law, and then our champions here, George and Barbara Gordon and Bill and Debbie Batches. Thank you all so much for making this event possible. And then those swag bag folks are to the table, Blueberry Haven, Brewery Vivant. You'll see some prizes you will win potentially tonight. Ferris Coffee and Nut made that possible, Aperitivo, and then making sure that we can be heard and that we have all this technology handled tonight is Be Heard Production. So check them out if you haven't heard of them. Thank you so much.
To our sponsors, it's really great to have you all behind us and supporting us. Well, one of my privileges over the last 10 to 11 years that I've worked at Camp Blodgett, in my early years, I was the camp director. And I got to see people from 8 years old to 13 be campers, then young leaders, then become counselors, and also hire adult counselors that then went on to other careers. And it was just a real joy to not only see people walk through their adolescence and to become adults, but also to see relationships between campers and counselors then mold into kind of a peer-to-peer relationship. It was absolutely amazing. One of those friendships was between two of my good friends, long-term Camp B people that I have just truly loved and grown to appreciate, and that's Norm and Jake. And this first conversation is about when mentors become friends. It's about Norman and Jake, and let's go ahead and do this. I hope you enjoy and take a look. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to have the first of several conversations with former staff or campers or different families associated with Camp Blodgett, just to give you a glimpse into all the many stories that kind of come together in this very special place for us all. One of my true joys with working for Camp Blodgett over the last several years has been to run into new relationships or new friendships that I might not otherwise have if I didn't work at Camp Blodgett. This is a place where lots of different socioeconomic backgrounds, lots of different races, just a lot of different walks of life come together to serve our kids and show them an amazing time on Lake Michigan at our camp. Two of those relationships are my good friend Norman and Jake. Known these guys for well over a decade. And Norman started out as a camper here, then he grew up through our Young Leaders program and eventually became our head counselor. Jake was also a head counselor here after several years of being a counselor. But Jake was working on staff when you first came on as a camper. Tell us a little bit about that, Norman, in terms of when you came on this camp and came across this guy.
No, that's it. I remember getting off the bus, seeing this beautiful camp, right? And I see people, cheering, like welcoming all the campers there. And I don't know why, but when I first seen Jake and I seen the luscious locks dripping, it was just something about him that caught my eye. Just his, I just felt a good spirit about him. And I think that's where the chemistry began. It's just getting off the bus. I vividly remember seeing Jake and his smile and how happy he was of us arriving at camp.
Right on, right on. And Jake, for you, you ran across lots of campers, and for me, my own memory, I didn't necessarily know if I had an impact on a lot of younger kids when I was an adult. I was just trying to do my best to be kind of a guiding figure for them. Anything that stood out for you in regards to Norman when he was a youngster and watching him come up?
Oh, definitely. So I think when I first started, Norman was like in that senior camper kind of role, which is like kind of prepping, young kids for like a junior counselor and eventually maybe even like a counselor like type job. Norman was just super mature for his age. So, he just totally, such a caring and personable guy. I mean, I just remember him always having a smile on his face, never, nothing, he never had anything negative to say, and was always kind of trying to do what he could to make, the kids in his cabin feel safe and at home. And, he was it, man. He was stellar. Yeah. So.
One thing that really stood out is Norman was always a peacekeeper, and really Jake as well. We all kind of have that same kinship of, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to let people get all angry about a game of capture the flag and start throwing fists or something like that. But tell me about that in terms of your demeanor, in terms of all the many experiences you had either from home to your friends growing up at home to bringing that to here and being a peacekeeper.
Well, honestly, at home, I was a totally different person, right? I'm just going to be honest with you. Yeah. I was still struggling with my identity, right? Still figuring out who I was. I was, those years of high school middle school, high school, I was just really struggling. And although it was so much going on in my neighborhood, my mom was like, I want you in a better place, a more peaceful place, a better experience. So she put me here at camp. And camp was my opportunity, I feel, to be who I felt more called to be, to be more of the peacekeeper, that kind person. But the only way that happened was learning from you guys, is how kind you guys were and how you guys kept the peace and how you made things feel like a family. And I really believe, even in that situation, I remember Jake doing similar things for me. I'm glad he didn't say it, but I remember getting into a very intense basketball game here at Camp Blodgett, right? And a kid did a hard foul against me, and I ran from one side of the court to the other. I was going to really blindside the kid. And Jake came and He grabbed me up, right? I know he doesn't remember this. He was playing Foursquare, and I mean, dusted over. And
his
oh
radar
man,
up.
he caught me. I was going for a tackle, and Jake came and grabbed me, scooped me up. Hey, Norm, we're going for a walk. What is going on? And I remember, he loved me. He showed me a lot of love, and I think he showed me a lot of grace in that situation. And it was things like that that taught me about keeping the peace, learning how to walk away, not letting anger, letting things that I see maybe in my neighborhood and things like that. Like, no, there's other ways to deal with things. So when you talk about this situation, it is a reflection of what you guys taught me of how to just look at all angles and find a way to keep the peace.
Yeah.
I think that, that family aspect is just kind of what kept people coming back. Just being able to be in a place where, they felt safe to be who it is they wanted to be around people that just, wanted to have fun and help others. So, I mean, yeah.
You just had said there's something special about camp, about us coming together in terms of all different backgrounds, trying to do one really special thing for a week for a group of kids.
Yeah.
That really stood out to me. And one thing you came up with when you came here as a counselor and I was camp director in my early years was coming up with a superheroes program. And I want to touch back to that whole connection from camper to counselor to how we now engage in the community as giving back community members. You said something about you being Peter Parker as a youngster that you always remembered from Jake. Tell me about that.
That is true. I remember of being a senior camper, and at the end of camp, everybody would sign your shirts and things like that. But then you had the veteran, the cool staff would sometimes pick out a kid or a junior counselor or senior camper and write them a letter. And I remember at that a letter Jake wrote me. It was very few. It was probably 3 or 4 sentences, right? But it was very deep and it was heartfelt. And he said, "You know what, Norman? Don't go changing. Continue to grow as who you are. You are the Peter Parker," right? I don't even think I knew who Peter Parker was then, right? But I remember keeping that letter honestly next to my bed in a shoebox. And it was so, anytime we moved or anytime I had something going on, I would just read through that letter. And I remember when now being a counselor, right? I'm a counselor now. It's my second year, and Jake is there as well now. And Jake is doing superheroes. We're going to have a superhero theme event here at camp. And I mean, Jake went to Google mode. I mean, just assessing people, taking notes. And when he pulled and said, "Hey, Norm, I want you to be Peter Parker," it really did something to my heart. I think I melted.
It was like came full circle.
It came full circle. And, I don't think I am Peter Parker, right? But Jake really
you
brought
are. You're Spider-Man.
Oh my. But he made me feel so special in that line. And being Peter Parker, I think, really, I think it even though it was simple, him picking me to be him, it really has stuck with me throughout life.
Yeah.
It does.
Norman's the kind of guy that, he doesn't waste his gifts, and he builds on them. Mm-hmm. And he takes, his experiences and any hardship or whatever, and he just doesn't let it faze him. Mm-hmm. He can't stay down. He picks himself up and, and he inspires other people.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that, and I've worked with him outside of camp too. And the thing about Norman is that he brings this kind of just optimism to any situation, and, just makes you want to be a better person. Yeah. So, I mean, he's the man.
What?
Spider-Man. The Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I would not be doing the things I am today. And I sincerely mean that. No matter where I go, I share the stories that I've had with you guys. And I think it's beyond friends. You guys are my family. And I've learned how to become a better man, how to give back to my community, how to be honest, how to be kind, how to keep the peace. And I am very thankful. It is a privilege to be able to do life and to know men like you who really poured into me. So I'm forever grateful for that.
Appreciate that. Well, this is an online fundraiser. It's something we've never done before, so we appreciate you guys listening in on this conversation. Very thankful to each of you for your time. Before we part ways and go on to the next conversation, just this being a fundraiser, I'm going to turn over to Jake. Anything else you want to add to this conversation before we turn it over to Norman and tell people about how they can give to us?
Well, I just think that, what are we coming up on, 100 years?
Yeah,
here?
2021 is 100 years.
And I think that this is probably one of the most special things that West Michigan has to offer. You take kids from, the rural or urban areas, you're bringing them out here. They're getting, a week to, meet one another, have a good time, learn new skills, and it's so unique, and especially in the times that we're in now, it's just definitely needed.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Jake is saying, not only did Camp Blodgett change my life, but it saved my life, right? You're talking to a kid who never seen Lake Michigan until I came out here, right? I was in a world where all I seen was, the same things every day. There was so much going on in my neighborhood, and camp taught me about what the world was like, and that people do care, and that there are people out there who want to be family and who want to invest in you. Without this place, I would not be doing the things that I am today. My daughter being 7 years old, since the age of 5, she's been talking about, I cannot wait to be a camper at Camp Blodgett, because that's how much it's changed my life. And for those who are listening today, make sure you donate. If you really want to make change and invest in your community, there is no better way than donating here at Camp Blodgett.
Well, Norman, thank you so much for joining us again here tonight. We're back here in the Lopes Retreat Center studios. And you and I did some matching tonight, man, but you wear it a little bit better.
No, man, talk about mentorship, man. You got me together, Rick.
Well, man, we're so thankful to have you back tonight, and that you and Jake could come out for that conversation a couple weeks ago. As we talked about that night, we could have jammed for another 2 to 3 hours about all of our experiences here. And I want to draw everyone's attention to the chat area real quickly. One of our other good friends from camp, Ontario Hodges, did a real shout out to Norman, just saying the times that he spent over the years with Norman have just meant so much to him. And now Ontario is that guy that's in a head counselor role and just coming up at Camp Blodgett and doing some amazing things for us. So it's just a testament to that passing of the torch and that mentorship. And we're thankful for you now as a Camp Blodgett family, and you're part of our board and everything. So thank you so much.
Hey, it is my pleasure. Anything to do with Camp Blodgett, I want to be a part of. Camp Blodgett really brought out that inner leader within myself. It taught me how to be a leader in my community, and in the school system of which I work in right now. I would not be the man I am today without Camp Blodgett. For those who are listening today, like no other camp, Camp Blodgett doesn't offer scholarships for just one camper. We offer a sliding scale fee for every camper. Yes, every camper has an opportunity to come. It only costs them about $20 to come, but with the expenses of transporting and housing them, it's about $500 for us to make that happen. But generous people change the world, Rick. And I know those who are listening today, they are going to make that change. We are going to make a goal of raising $25,000. And I know we're going to make that happen. And when we hit that goal, we're going to be able to send 50 campers to camp next summer. So no matter how chaotic this year has been, I know this is a perfect opportunity to invest in your community. This is how you build a legacy, by investing in your community into campers. So.
Well, thank you, Norman. Really appreciate that. Well, if you are able to donate tonight, we have a couple of different opportunities on how you can do that. If you have a swag bag, there's actually some envelopes in there. But the way we'd really like to generate some momentum tonight is to see how we're doing throughout the night from 7 to 8 p.m. So there is going to be on your right side an offer button. You should all be able to see on your screen a button that says offer. Once you click on that, there's a second button that says donate. So click offer, then click donate. If this story between Norman and Jake really inspired you, we'd really appreciate any amount that you can give, and just look towards our 2021 for you all to invest in us and invest in more kids coming to camp. So thank you so much for that. Well, I am actually really excited to give away our first giveaway. So as I've been promoting this event, I've been like, I'm giving a bunch of stuff away. So this is the first one of the night. And the first item comes from, it's a gift basket from Ferris Coffee and Nut. It's worth over $100. It's a great item from local Ferris Coffee and Nut. And I did receive the name of who won this. We have a really cool tool tonight. So if you're registered, if you're watching online right now, we take all of your names and put them in a name picker, and we just randomly draw that. And so I got the first name, and that winner is going to be LaToya Booker. Everybody give a little shout out to LaToya online. My shout out is to Floyd. You can't steal all of that gift basket from LaToya. You guys got to share as a family, so just everybody take it easy there. But congratulations to LaToya. You guys enjoy that gift from Ferris Coffee and Nut. And for the rest of us going around, just remember they're a huge sponsor, and give a shout out to them and give them support as they need it as well. All right. Well, as we're moving away from our gift basket, I just want to do one more shout out to our Trailblazer sponsor. That is Deloitte. I've had a great relationship with Deloitte now for over 10 years. We know a lot of their staff members. They've been on our board. They've instituted the Deloitte Nature Trail, which is a beautiful trail on our property. And they give to us through volunteering and sponsorship for events like this every year. So big thank you to our Trailblazer sponsor, Deloitte.
Well, we are moving right along here with our time together. And what we are going to do next is share a story with you about a family this time. So we have the privilege here of watching hundreds of children grow. Leaders like Norman are grown here, leaders like Donnie, who we mentioned. And one thing that they have in common when they come to Camp Blodgett is they're often limited in resources. And that is where you come in. They are not limited in potential. And you can turn their potential into those leaders that you're already seeing, like Norm. So sometimes our leaders come in a whole family. And with the next story, we are going to introduce you to one of our staff members, Andrea Robinson, who's our Community Development Director. She took time to meet with the young family. We're going to go ahead and share a story of how all those children have been involved in all of our programs.
So I'm here talking with Holly Mulder, and I'm so excited to have you and your family join us tonight. We're going to have an opportunity to talk about opportunities that kids at Camp Blodgett have to grow. Holly, can you tell me a little bit about what brought you and your family to Camp Blodgett?
Absolutely. Well, we had just gone through a pretty extreme family transition. And we were back in Michigan, and I found myself back in my hometown, actually, which is kind of more of an affluent sort of homogenous sort of place. And I was looking for opportunities for my kids to really gain perspective and just have some experiences that I really was hoping for them. And I found so much at Camp Blodgett, not only for them to, the opportunities for them here to experience a really quality camp experience, but in the friendships that they could make and the support that they got, those were unexpected items.
So you've gone through a lot as a person and as a parent through your kids' journey. What kept you coming back to Camp Blodgett?
I really was excited about the opportunities to have a camp experience, to forge the friendships and that sort of thing, but I was not expecting the leadership opportunities and the confidence that the kids gained during that time, because it was just so important to have so many caring, devoted people just building into them. So, yeah, that would definitely be part of that.
Absolutely. That is what Camp Blodgett's all about, right? Is not just the fun and the activities and that kind of thing, but giving these kids and your kids and lots of other kids opportunities for leadership opportunities and growth over time.
I feel like you guys make it fun. It's like, you know, they're eating their vegetables and they don't even know it.
That's awesome. Well, let's bring your kids in and also your husband, Jason, and we'll have them join us for more conversation. Hey, so Justice, it's really great to have all of you guys here, but I have a question for you first. you were a camper for just a year, and when you guys were introduced to Camp Blodgett, and the next year you became a young leader for us. So as a 14-year-old, you grew into this new program opportunity of our Young Leaders program, and you really demonstrated mentorship and leadership in that program. Tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you and how it gave you opportunities to grow.
So as a camper, I came into Camp Blodgett very closed off, and I didn't really understand the community that I had just become a part of. But then my first year as a young leader, the older young leaders really stepped up and kind of took me under their wing, and I learned a lot. It was a very judgment-free area, and I felt very accepted. And so that allowed me to grow in myself and to help other people grow. So then later on, when it came for my time to come through, and I could be that older young leader and help those campers who were like, I don't know if I want to come back next year, I could be like, it's a very different experience. It gives you a lot of real world help. And that was a really good growth for me. And it helped me outside of the Camp Blodgett community, because I grew up outside of Camp Blodgett in a very closed off community as well that didn't experience the outside world very much. And so I could kind of share my own experiences and help people in that community grow as well.
That's really great. You've really grown into an incredible young man, and we're so grateful that you're still involved with us here at Camp Blodgett. So I'll never forget the day that your whole family came into our office at Camp Blodgett, and three of you, Luke and Joni, and also Eli, interviewed for our STEM Academy. That program was a big part of your lives here at Camp Blodgett, and I just wondered if you wanted to talk about that at all. Like, what was the STEM Academy like for you, Joni, and how did it help you grow?
It's not like school. It's like if school was so much more fun, you know? Like, all the teachers are so beyond kind, and they are always there to help you, and they would let you do fun things. Like, it wasn't just sitting down and working. It was like we'd do experiments, and we'd go down to the water, and it was so fun. I enjoyed my time at STEM Academy.
That's great. Luke, how would you say the STEM Academy helped you grow into the student that you are today? Like, how did it help you academically?
I would have to say that STEM, it actually impacted me more personally than school did, because I had a lot more bonds here than I felt like I had at school. But then, like, also, as my sister was saying, the school itself, it was a lot more hands-on. I felt like I could actually grasp the knowledge myself instead of, being a little bit more distant and doing a lot more paperwork. It was more, we're going to go outside, we're going to go make s'mores with the just the heat of the sun. It was a lot. It was so much better than I would have ever expected.
That's awesome. Holly, you've always shared with me just how much you've appreciated the program, the STEM Academy. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
Boy, the kids really touched on a lot of the issues or the benefits. I would just say that it is invaluable to have that connection, that educational component between the end of school and the beginning of school over summer. It definitely impacted the kids and kept the learning real and fresh. So, yeah, that's hard to beat. Plus, with all the local teachers and all the opportunity that they provide, that's hard to beat too.
As we wrap up our time here together this evening, I just wondered if you guys have anything else you'd like to add.
Sure, yeah, I think I've really been impacted by how the relationships that the kids have gotten have really kind of changed and matured them. And then secondly, they've taken on a lot of responsibility. They've wanted to grow, wanted to become leaders, wanted to be involved, and it's just been incredible to watch.
Big sister. It's like I had a big sister, and it was just such an amazing feeling to be in a family of like 12 girls and just having friends at summer camp. Like, everybody wanted to be friends. Like, it didn't matter who you were. It's just everybody just, yeah, it was such a good experience to have.
That's so great to hear. We love the friendships that we can see from kids all over camp. And it's just, it's one of the great things about camp. You all are some incredible young people. I just really appreciate that you joined us here tonight. As we wrap up our time, Holly, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Actually, I do. One thing that meant a lot to me personally as a parent, particularly as at that time, 7 years ago, a single mother of 4 kids, going back to college on a very limited income. It was amazing the judgment-free support that I received from the staff at Camp Blodgett, whereas that had not been what I experienced in other places. And knowing that I could help facilitate through Camp Blodgett this experience for my kids when I had very little, all the way through to getting my degree and finding my path and being able to support at a greater level myself, like through that transitional process. That's been incredible because, boy, let me say, 7 years ago there was just no way that this would have been a reality for my 4 kids back then. So that has meant a lot to me. That has brought tears to my eyes. And if there is any way tonight that you could support Camp Blodgett, that it's just an amazing opportunity for so many.
Oh, wow. Well, that story just gets to me. So thank you, Holly. Thank you to the Young family, to Luke, to Justice, to Janie. We're so thankful that you took time to share your story with us, and we're so proud of you. So I want to make sure to say that. So I'm going to remind you, even though I know that Holly said it in that video, that tonight is about supporting kids like those that you just saw. And Norman shared earlier that camp costs $500 for us. That's for 1 week. And we try to send 700 campers to camp each summer. That's this summer. And we can't do that without you. So we'd love you to support us at that $500 level, but we understand that not everybody can. So if you can't join at $500, you could always think of $250 or $100. Maybe you and 4 friends that you're hanging out with, drinking a bottle of wine with tonight, can pool together and make a campership possible. I like to think for $40 a month, and I've probably saved $40 a month in gas and lunches and those kind of things, you could send 1 kid to summer camp and change their life. All right, so before we continue to go on, I want to do a prize. It's my first time getting to actually do this, so this one's pretty fun. It is a virtual happy hour at Aperitivo, which is Art of the Table's sister store. And for this prize, you will have 3 bottles of wine and a 3-cheese plate, and you would have one of their expert staff with you virtually. That's an important part. And we have a winner here for that prize, Sammy Bucher. Sammy, congratulations. Andrea, I believe, will follow up with you after this event and connect you with how to get that prize. So I want to give one last shout out. We've been thanking our sponsors throughout the night, but our camp champs, Molina Healthcare and Wolverine Building Group, thank you so much for supporting us. Well, believe it or not, we are nearing the end of this hour. I told you this hour of joy would go quickly, and hopefully you are just as excited as we are to share the last story. So our last story here of the evening, our last conversation, is about another camper turned grown-up, and this one is Val Marin. So welcome, Val.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Actually, Val is our intern this semester too, so I'm pretty excited to introduce you to Val. And we have so many campers that come to us at a young age and stick around. So why don't you just start by just sharing what your first Camp Blodgett experience was and how long ago was that?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's tuning in tonight. It's so appreciated. And I just want to thank everyone from the Camp Blodgett staff for having me here today in this little panel situation, as well as helping out. But yeah, so my first year at Camp Blodgett, it was back in 2007. I was 9 years old, and my best friend's mom convinced my mom to attend summer camp. I wasn't able to do a lot of things, so being able to be a part of this program, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. And honestly, it was so fun. I was able to swim in Lake Michigan, do lots of activities, arts and crafts. That's where my love for lanyards and bracelet making stemmed. And yeah, it was just like a really fun time. I also did the talent show for the first time ever, and I sang a Michael Jackson song, and then I cried my eyes out after.
That release of tension.
I was so nervous. But honestly, I don't think I would have been able to do something like that if it weren't for like my friends and just like the whole energy of just being encouraging that Camp Blodgett brought on. So that was a lot for me at the moment.
Amazing. And you have not just been a camper and all of a sudden an intern. You stayed with us. So Val was a young leader, a counselor, and something keeps you sticking around. So what do you think that is?
Yeah, I've been coming back to Camp Blodgett since that year when I was 9 years old. Like, I've been back every single year. I think what really made me stick around was just, okay, as a kid, as a camper, I think just the fact of doing something. You know, I grew up in a really strict household, and I always, like, during the summer, I wasn't able to do much. So I think always looking forward to Camp Blodgett was something that I had in my mind, and just being able to hang out with my friends and then meeting new people. And I think throughout the years, as I got older, when I was able to work at the Young Leader Program and then being a counselor, I started to realize, like, the people here are amazing, like, they're so supportive. And then, you know, once I became a counselor, I was like, okay, like, I know what I want to do with my life. Like, I found my passion in Camp Blodgett. Like, I thank Camp Blodgett every single day, because without it, like, I would have been lost, I feel. But yeah, I think what really keeps me coming back is just the fact of wanting to help the kids and wanting to be there for the kids, because I know a lot of counselors were there for me when I was the camper, and I just kind of, you know, want to do the same.
Well, it is obvious to us. I mean, I always get such pride whenever I'm around any of our former campers or staff, so it's evident to me that you are quite a leader. What are some of the leadership skills that you have gained by being here?
Yeah, I think a skill that I had prior to working with Camp Blodgett, but really helped me develop it and showcase it, was just the fact of being really efficient and really managing my time and wanting to get things done. I thank the whole Young Leader Program that we have at Camp Blodgett, because that really helped me be the person I am today. You know, like, I mean, working at Camp Blodgett in general did, but I think the Young Leader Program really helps out on those teens that, you know, are still trying to figure out what exactly they want to do, because it provides not only like different life skills, but just like also a lot of consideration and thoughts of what you want to do with your life. And I know a lot of young leaders who are going to be counselors now. You know, a lot of them are going into education or just working in the field working with kids, and I think that's amazing. So yeah, I think another thing is the patience. I was able to gain a lot of patience, not only with just working with kids, but also working with families and then staff members and even myself. So I just thank Camp Blodgett for like the different life skills that I was able to gain.
Well, you are at the end of your internship, which means you're likely at the end of your college career. So you can tell folks a little bit about what is in Val's future.
Yeah, so I am attending Western Michigan University. Go Broncos. And I am in my last semester, so I'm graduating this December. I'm studying family studies and as well as Spanish. And right now, I just kind of keep it broad, and I just, my goal is to just work with families and work with youth. I've always been so passionate working with youth, and a lot, like all of it really stemmed from working at Camp Blodgett. And I know that I have a lot of support here from the CB fam, so I'm I feel like I'm set.
Awesome. So we know that we're here tonight to try and raise money so that our kids can continue to have these experiences. So why would you say that someone should invest in camp?
Wow. You got to understand that Camp Blodgett has so much potential and so much hope and so much loving care for not only the staff, but like just the children and everything all around. I think of it as like a home. Like to me, Camp Blodgett is a home. I've been here for so many years, but I'm pretty sure you could say the same thing. Young leaders, other staff, and especially kids are saying these things, that Camp Blodgett is their home. It is a home away from home. And within a home, you always want to make sure that everything is right and everything, if there's a situation going on, you want to make sure you're fixing it or seeing how to better support the people within that household or home. And that's the same thing here. Camp Blodgett is a home, and we're searching for better ways to enhance activities or programs within Camp Blodgett, or better ways to help the families and support the kids. So that's why, people should invest in Camp Blodgett, because there's so much hope, and it's literally a home for all of us, and especially for the kids.
Thank you, Val. We didn't script her, folks. This is real, live. Thank you so very much. So, like I said in the beginning, and Val is reminding us here through her story, that poverty is up. We know that's for sure. We know that education is something that children are really hungry for, that they're not getting in traditional senses. Val got to see us do an innovative outdoor school with Blandford. That's what Camp Blodgett is about. We're going to respond to the need no matter how we have to do it and how we need to adapt. So our need is going to be greater than it ever has before, and you can help us out.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. Well, I know that I hear we are going to get close to our hour. I can't believe it already. So we need you now. We're getting towards the end here. If you can, go ahead and donate. What you will be making possible is us to provide this recreation, these educational programs for children that are experiencing poverty. And you can be the difference. You can be the difference in making a Val, creating a Norman, creating those young families as well. And it can all be because of you.
Yeah, I totally agree, Lucy. It was so good to see our kids out here doing day camp programming this summer. We honestly had a lot of hard decisions to make week in and week out in April, May, June, trying to figure out what can we do for kids who have been in virtual classrooms for 2.5 months. Mm-hmm. What can we offer that's under safe guidelines? And we made some great decisions. I'm very proud of our staff, and they did a great job. So, while you were talking with Val, I learned that our event tonight has raised a great amount of money. We were prior to Val's conversation, right around $17,000 raised. I just got an update. We're up to like $18,600, so $18,600. Give a shout out on those chat rooms. I just did a really awkward one-handed.
We're old now. It's happening.
I'm going to walk out with my walking cane after this, so enjoy that, folks. But we're so thankful for that amount. We are trying to hit a $25,000, so every little bit you can give. If these stories have turned your heart, we really appreciate it if you go to that offer button and that donate button and click on there. So let's see. I get to do one more giveaway. And this giveaway I'm a little bit biased about. So I get to live on this property. I get to manage all the buildings here in this beautiful Lokes Retreat Center that we've been gifted. It's just such an awesome opportunity to be a steward of this property and to bring wedding events out here, family reunions. We have knitting retreats and music retreats here.
Whatever you want.
All kinds of wild experiences. But what we're giving away is a family retreat weekend. You can probably have up to 30 guests stay in this building. If you want to squeeze in with more family members, all the better. But we have a giveaway, and that is going to Dawn Mulder. Shout out to Dawn Mulder. Congratulations. You'll be getting in contact with me or Andrea, and we'll get you lined up with a off-season weekend to come out here and enjoy this space, to go around the property and enjoy West Michigan and the Lakeshore. And it's pretty awesome offer worth over $8,500. And we're excited to share our property with you.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And I want to go ahead and thank all of you for being here tonight. Thank our sponsors and call attention to our Happy Camper sponsors who we are featuring here to remind you that Rose McKee, Varnum Law, Bill and Debbie Batches, and George and Barbara Gordon are helping to make tonight possible. So reminding you that those that donated, and that I believe means you, what you are doing is you are promoting social responsibility, you're encouraging academic success, you are helping children have a high self-esteem, and you are doing that for the children that could not afford it otherwise. I want to make sure that that's an important message you take away. We are not your average summer camp. We are the upside down version that makes sure that everyone has access. So the last thing that I want to do is say thank you. Thank you for staying with us for an hour that I hope didn't feel like it was too long and that you had snacks and drinks to keep you occupied in our hilarity. And then, of course, I want to thank my board and I want to thank my staff. 2020 has not been an easy year. You all know what I mean in many of the versions of that. And it was heavy, but you took it with grace. And I am so grateful to lead alongside of you. So thank you so much. Last shout out that I want to give is to Andrea Robinson. Behind the scenes, making it all happen. So thank you, Andrea. You might have interacted with her throughout this event. You don't know how much she is doing behind the scenes for us and how she pulled this whole thing off. So thank you.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to turn it over to you, Rick, and we're going to really get this show over.
Yeah. And along with Andrea, our other counterpart to making this whole tech thing happen is Brett with Be Heard Video. Check out his productions. He does a lot of these type of events for nonprofits. We're so thankful for Brett's time. He's been a joy to work with. Him and Andrea have been a great partnership, and so we're very thankful. And I'm thankful for you as a co-host.
Always.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave you with a slideshow. Don't leave during this slideshow. Really take in the ideas of these stories, how hard 2020 has been. Think about kids getting out in nature and having opportunities that are outside of their households. We had two great staff members in Blake and Donnie create this awesome song, Best Life at CB. They also had an awesome verse from one of our campers. Take a look at all that. Take a look at the pictures. Really take in what this place has meant for 99 years now. And we hope you truly enjoy, and thank you for joining us tonight. Enjoy your best life at CB. Take care.
We living our best life at CB. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life, we living our best life, we living our best life at CB. Oh! Summertime on the lakeshore. Let the games begin. These memories will last forevermore. Living it up with all my friends. Turn up the love and off with the man rise and shine till the campbell time. There's a whole lot of fun to be had. Everyone deserves a good time. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life. We living our best life. We living our best life at CB. Happy Valley, singing songs. I could eat s'mores all night long. Having fun with my friends. Only 1 week, I hope it never ends. Live a little. It ain't a crime. Swing up the road, have a little climb. Camp Lodge is where the fun never ends. Can't wait till next year when I come again. Campfires burning bright. We sing our song from morning to night. Come on and place your bid. We do it for the kids. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life. We living our best life. We living our best life at CB.
living that best life at CB. Yeah, torch fires tiki, going like differently, unique. So live your best life with me. Let's go. Best life, no stress, no. Chilling at the lake show. Sun's out in the sands, warm. We living the best life and more. Riding around with the flow of the sea. Stories to tell, campfires to sing. We should get more, Donnie. What do you think?
I still gave him Uncle Head show. What you mean?
We doing it differently, living the best life at CB. Basketball without the sports and the things. Freaking and frolicking, picking and polishing. We having the best life at CB.
Now you know what camp's about. We're making change without a doubt. Let the kid inside go ahead and scream and shout. We're living our best life at CB. We living our best life at CB. We living our best life. We living our best life. We living our best life.